Chapter 1, The Daily Grind. In the bustling city of Charlotte, North Carolina, lived a man named Jack Thompson. Every morning, he donned his worn-out suit, grabbed a quick cup of coffee, and braced himself for another day under the oppressive gaze of his boss, Mr. Grayson. His job was monotonous, the pay barely sufficient, but with bills piling up, Jack felt trapped. One particular grueling day, as Jack was sorting through a mountain of paperwork, his colleague and friend Lisa approached him. "Jack, you look exhausted. Everything okay?" she asked, genuine concern in her eyes. Jack sighed, rubbing his temples. "Just the usual, Lisa. Endless work, low pay, and Grayson breathing down my neck. I need a way out.
Hey, good to see
I can't
you.
afford to lose this job."
Hey, good to see you.
Lisa nodded sympathetically.
Hey, good to see you.
I get it.
Hey, good to
But
see
have you
you.
ever thought about finding ways to achieve financial freedom? You know, so you're not stuck here forever. Jack chuckled bitterly. Financial freedom. Sounds like a dream. How would I even start? Lisa smiled. Well, for starters, you could create a budget to track your spending. It might help you save more than you think. Jack had heard about budgeting before, but had never implemented it. That evening, he decided to give it a shot. He listed all his monthly expenses and was shocked to discover how much he had spent on non-essential items. Determined to make a change, he began cutting unnecessary costs and set a goal to save a portion of his income each month. The awakening. Weeks turned into months, and Jack's savings grew slowly. He felt a sense of control over his finances that he had never experienced before. One day, during lunch, Lisa handed him a book titled Path to Financial Freedom. "Thought you might find this helpful," she said with a wink. Jack devoured the book, learning about the importance of eliminating debt, investing wisely, and creating multiple income streams. Inspired, he decided to tackle his credit card debt first. Paying more than the minimum payment each month to reduce the principal faster, he also started contributing to his company's retirement plan, understanding the value of compound interest. The side hustle. One evening, while browsing the internet for additional income ideas, Jack stumbled upon an article about print-on-demand businesses. The concept intrigued him. Creating designs to be printed on products like t-shirts and mugs with no upfront costs for inventory. He recalled his passion for graphic design from his college days and wondered if this would be his ticket out. Eager to start, Jack followed the steps outlined in the article. Number 1, sign up. He created a free account on Printify's website. Number 2, choose products. He selected popular items like t-shirts and mugs to feature his designs. Number 3, design. Using his old design software, he crafted unique eye-catching graphics. Number 4, connect to an online store. Jack set up a Shopify store, integrating it with Printify. Number 5, set pricing. He calculated prices that covered production and shipping costs while providing a reasonable profit margin. Number 6, order samples. To ensure quality, he ordered samples of his products. Number 7, launch and market. Jack promoted his store through social media, leveraging platforms like Instagram and Facebook to reach potential customers. Initial sales were slow, but Jack remained persistent. He dedicated his evenings and weekends to refining his designs and marketing strategies. Gradually, his efforts paid off as orders trickled in, providing him with a modest but growing side income. The turning point. As Jack's financial situation improved, he felt less dependent on his job. He paid off his credit card debt and built an emergency fund covering 6 months of expenses. With newfound confidence, he approached Mr. Grayson to discuss the raise, armed with evidence of his contributions to the company. To his surprise, Mr. Grayson dismissed his request, belittling his efforts, and insinuated that he was easily replaceable. That was the final straw. Jack handed in his resignation, choosing to bet on himself and his business. New beginnings. Free from the toxic work environment, Jack devoted himself entirely to his print-on-demand business. He expanded his product line, collaborated with other designers,
Hi,
and
good to see
reinvested
you.
his profits into marketing and improving his online store. His income steadily increased, surpassing what he had earned at his previous job. During this journey, Jack reconnected with an old friend, Sarah, who shared his entrepreneurial spirit. Their mutual interests blossomed into a deep relationship, and together they celebrated the success that many had doubted he could achieve. Lessons learned. Jack's transformation from a beleaguered employee to a successful entrepreneur offers valuable lessons. Number 1, budgeting. Tracking expenses and cutting unnecessary costs can free up funds for savings and investments. Debt management. Prioritizing debt repayment, especially high-interest debt, is crucial for financial health. Multiple income streams. Developing side hustles like print-on-demand businesses can provide additional income and financial security. Investing. Contributing to a retirement accounts and other investments early on, leveraging compound interest for long-term wealth. Self-belief. Trusting in one's ability and taking calculated risk can lead to personal and financial fulfillment. The chains beware. The trap. Jack Thompson's apartment was falling apart. Literally. The faucet in the kitchen dripped, a slow, rhythmic reminder of his ever-growing to-do list. His car had developed a strange clucking sound last week. The fridge buzzed ominously, and the peeling wallpaper in his bedroom made him feel like he was living in a perpetual state of decay. On this particular Friday, Jack sat at his rickety kitchen table with his head in his hands. Bills were spread out in front of him like taunts. Rent due in 3 days, a late notice from the electric company, and the ever-looming monster, his $38,000 student loan balance. His phone buzzed. It was his landlord. Jack, the gruffy voice said, "You're late again. One more week and I'm changing the locks." "I just need a little bit more time," Jack pleaded, but the call had already ended. "I'm running out of time, money, and patience," Jack muttered to himself. At his job, at Gerard's Consulting, he was working 50 hours a week, taking orders from a boss who seemed to enjoy humiliating him in front of the team. Thompson, Gerard brought earlier that day, "The report is garbage. Do it again, and this time try thinking." Co-workers like Lisa gave him sympathetic looks. No one dared to stand up to Gerard. Rock bottom. Later that evening, Jack found himself at O'Malley's pub, drowning his frustrations in cheap beer. His best friend Kevin sat across from him, nursing a whiskey. "Dude, you're killing yourself. Working for that psycho?" Kevin said. "What choice do I have?" Jack snapped. "I'm barely keeping my head above water as it is. You ever heard the phrase, living paycheck to paycheck? Yeah, that's my whole life." Kevin leaned back in his chair, expressed thoughtful. "You know, I read something recently said most people think of money like a bucket of water. They pour it out faster than they can feel it. But smart people, they build a well. The water comes to them. Jack frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Kevin smirked. It means you need to stop chasing every dollar and start building something that makes money for you. Passive income. Assets, not liabilities. Jack rolled his eyes. Kevin, I can't even afford to fix my faucet. How am I supposed to build a well? Kevin shrugged. Start small. Ever heard of printing on demand? My cousin's making a killing selling mugs with sarcastic quotes on Etsy. It sparkled hope. The next morning, hungover and desperate, Jack typed print on demand business in Google. He clicked on an article explaining how platforms like Printify and Printful worked. He learned that he could design products, t-shirts, mugs, tote bags, and sell them online without needing to buy inventory. The company would print and ship items for him, and he would keep the profit. Low risk, low cost. Jack murmured, scrolling through success stories. One person claimed they made $2,000 a month selling cat-themed tote bags. It sounded too good to be true, but Jack was intrigued. Starting from nothing. Jack sat down with Lisa during lunch on Monday. You ever heard of this print-on-demand thing? He asked. Lisa nodded. Yeah, it's legit. A friend of mine does it on the side. She makes yoga-themed designs and sells them on mugs and t-shirts. Why? I'm thinking about trying it, Jack said. I just don't know where to start. Lisa smiled. It's not as complicated as it sounds. Here's what you do. Sign up, go to the Printify, and create a free account. Then you just pick your products, choose for simple items like mugs or t-shirts, tote bags. Design. If you're not an artist, you can use Canva to make basic text designs. People love motivational quotes and funny faces. Then you just open a store, connect to Printify, Shopify, or Etsy. Etsy's cheaper to start, by the way. And then you set your prices. Make sure you're covering your costs and leaving room for some profits. And just market your stuff. Use Instagram, TikTok to show off your designs. People love the behind-the-scenes content. Jet raised up his eyebrows. Make it sound so easy. It's not easy, Lisa admitted, but it is simple. The hardest part is sticking with it. Small steps, big changes. Jack spent the next few weeks hustling after hours. He created a Printify account, chose some basic products, and designed his first collection of mugs and t-shirts. The designs were simple, sarcastic one-liners like Mondays, proof that life isn't fair, and motivational phrases like hustle hard, sleep later. He set up Etsy shop and shared his designs on Instagram. The first 2 weeks were solid, no sales. Not even a like on his post. Doubt crept in. What if this is just another waste of time? But on the 18th day,
good to see you.
Jack's phone
Hey,
buzzed with
good to see
notification.
you.
Hey,
Made a sale.
good to see you.
It was a $25 mug. Jack stared at the screen. A mix of disbelief and joy washing over him. The snowball effect. As sales trickled in, Jack reinvested every penny into improving his shop. He upgraded his ecstasy listings with professional photos, started running $5 Facebook ads, and even experimented with TikTok videos showcasing his products. The extra income allowed Jack to pay off one of his overdue bills, then another. Bit by bit, Jack clawed his way out of the financial pit. And life transformed. A year later, Jack's print-on-demand business was earning him $3,000 a month. Combined with his job income, he was finally able to fix his car, pay off his credit card debt, and even start saving for emergencies. On Friday,
good to
he
see
walked
you.
into Gerard's office
Hi,
and
good to
handed
see
him a letter
you.
of resignation. What's this, Gerard said? My freedom, Jack said slowly. Yeah, I told you so. Jack's success didn't stop there. He expanded his product line, launched a Shopify store, started teaching others to learn how to start their own businesses. He even met Sarah, a fellow entrepreneur who shared his passion for building a life of freedom. One evening, as they celebrated his latest milestone, Jack reflected on how far he had come. Funny, isn't it? He said. A year ago, he couldn't afford pizza. Now I'm running my own business. Sarah smiled. What you think? Some people doubted you. Jack laughed. Yeah, his whole life. One day, I told you so. Takeaways. Budget first. Track your spending to cut unnecessary expenses. Start small. As a print-on-demand, freelancing, and food. Begin with what you know. Stay consistent. Success takes time. Keep learning. Your living in survival. Jack Thompson overdue notice with bright red, screaming final warning, as if his life had already reached its breaking point. His rusty fridge rattled ominously in the corner, threatened to give up any day now. The faucet dripped. His car's check engine light blinked accusingly, and the landlord's voicemail sat unplayed on his phone. I know what he's going to say, Jack remembered. Pay up or pack up. Jack took a deep breath. The smell of burnt coffee lingered in the air. His job at Katrina's and Company's was his only lifeline. A low-paying, soul-crushing lifeline. Thompson, his boss, had barked earlier that day. Why does this report look like a toddler? Why does this report look like a toddler wrote it? Do it again and stay late. Jack clenched his fist at the memory. Stay late. This man's favorite phrase. Katrina's company had a way of making every employee feel like they owed their existence to the company. Jack hadn't had a week off in months. His paycheck vanished the moment it hit his
Hi,
account.
good to see you.
Eaten alive by rent,
Hi, good to see you.
car repairs, and the ever-present weight of a $48,000 student loan debt. That night, as his apartment grew dark, Jack sat at his kitchen table with a bottle of cheap soda. He stared out the window at the glowing city skyline, wondering how so many people seemed to be thriving while he was barely surviving. There's got to be a better way, he whispered. The catalyst. The next morning, Jack dragged himself to his job to meet his best friend, Kevin. Kevin was the kind of guy who always seemed to have a new side hustle or an investment scheme. Jack was skeptical of most of Kevin's ideas, but today he was desperate for advice. I'm drowning, Kev, Jack admitted. Every month, it's just bills, debt, repeat. I can't keep up. Kevin leaned forward, a spark of excitement in his eyes. Man, I've been there. But listen, you don't have to live like this forever. You got to change the way you think about money.
Hi, good
Jack
to
rolled
see
his
you.
eyes. Here we
Hi,
go again.
good to see you.
More of your crypto nonsense. Kevin laughed. Not this time. Let me break it down for you. Most people think of money like a leaky bucket. They pour their paychecks in, but it just drains out through rents, bills, some random crap they don't even need. What you need is a well, something that keeps filling itself up. A well, Jack said flatly. Great metaphor. Where's this magical well? Kevin smirked. It's not magic, dude. It's called passive income. Assets that make you money, even when you're not working. Ever heard of print on demand? Jack shook his head. It's simple, Kevin said. You design stuff, like t-shirts, mugs, tote bags, and then sell them online. Companies like Printify, Printful handle everything. Printing, shipping, even customer service. You don't even need inventory or upfront money. Just your creativity and a bit of hustle. Jack frowned. And people actually buy this stuff? Kevin grinned, pulling out his phone. My cousin made $2,000 last month selling mugs. Look at this one. I'm not arguing, I'm just explaining why I'm right. Jack snorted despite himself. Okay, that's funny. Exactly. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, Kevin said. Start with simple designs. Post them on Shopify, Etsy, and see what happens. Worst case, you're out a couple of hours. Best case, you got a side hustle. Jack mulled it over. He had no artistic skills. He had no time. He had no energy. But he also had no other options. The first steps. That night, Jack sat down at his old laptop and Googled print-on-demand businesses. He found step-by-step guides, success stories, and forums buzzing with advice. The concept seemed almost too good to be true. Following Kevin's advice, he created a free account on Printify and browsed at categories, blogs, t-shirts, mugs, tote bags, etc. It was all there. So he signed up for Canva, a free design tool, and spent hours experimenting with simple text designs. Okay, what do people love? He muttered, brainstorming. His first design was a mug that read, "Proof that life isn't fair, Mondays." Next, he set up Etsy shop, following a tutorial video he found online. It was clunky and awkward, but he got it done. The first few days were quiet, no sales, no lights, no traffic. Jack felt like he was shouting into the void. But on the fifth day, his phone buzzed. Then the internet buzzed. You made a sale. Someone had bought his mug for $20. Jack just stared at a notification, his heart pounding. This works. The grind. Sales trickled in over the next few months. The mug here, tote bag there, and Jack reinvested every dollar into improving his store. He ordered samples to ensure quality. He spent hours perfecting his product descriptions and even took a crash course in social media marketing. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. His demands at work grew worse and worse, and Jack was constantly exhausted. He stayed up late tweaking designs and woke up early to answer messages. One day, Lisa noticed the bags under his eyes. Jack, are you okay? You look like you haven't slept in a week. I'm fine, Jack said. Just working on something. Lisa tilted her head. What kind of something? Jack hesitated, then showed her his Etsy shop. This is amazing, she said, scrolling through his designs. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't think anyone would care, Jack admitted. Lisa smiled. Well, I care, and you're doing great. Keep going. Breaking free. A year later, Jack's print-on-demand business was earning him $3,000 a month, enough to pay off his credit card debt at least, fix his car, and start an emergency fund. On a Friday afternoon, Katrina summoned him to the office. Thompson, She looked intensely at him. Well, haven't you finished your quarterly report? Jack smiled for the first time in months. Because I quit. Katrina's jaws dropped. Can't quit. You need this job. No, Jack said, standing tall. I needed it. Now, I'm building my own future. A new life. Jack's life and personal transformation. Jack expanded his shop, launched blogs to share his journey, and even started coaching others on starting their own businesses. Along the way, he met Sarah, a freelance photographer, who became his biggest supporter and his greatest love. Together, they built a life of freedom, far from the chaos of his former job. One evening, as they watched the sunset from their cozy apartment, Jack turned to Sarah. It's crazy, isn't it? A year ago, I couldn't even afford my own rent. Now I'm running my own business. Sarah smiled. And to think how many people doubted you could do it. Jack laughed. This whole thing, I told myself I could do it. And now, it's finally come true. Every dollar I track, cutting the unnecessary expenses, even starting small. Who would have thought platforms like Printify and Canva could help me launch my business the way it did? Staying consistent. You know what? Success doesn't happen overnight. But to keep learning and improving, it really does. The most important lesson of all, invest in yourself. Every dollar and hour I spent investing in me will pay dividends later. So those are the stories of Jack. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe and like, share these stories with those who can really benefit from this lesson. So what's the lesson? Always bet on yourself. Invest in yourself. And whether you're like Jack or you have jobs or your time is gone, wherever you find yourself in a situation and you know you need better, and you know you want better for yourself. These stories are just reminders that you can do it. You have everything you need, but you gotta start now. You gotta start today. You can't keep pushing it off. You can't keep delaying it. Time is so valuable, and every time you spend wasting, it's time you could have been working towards your goals, your future, the life that you truly want. So go ahead and subscribe as we continue to build this community and give more and more helpful advice so that you can move forward in the life that you want. You can't escape a sinking ship by patching holes. Build your own lifeboat and row toward freedom.